Hi, Wendy here. We are filming at the Museum of New Art called Mona in Portsmouth, New Hampshire for their current exhibition, George Rodrigue Painting for Myself, on view through January 2nd, 2024. And one of the pieces I wanted to spotlight today is this magnificent work with neon. It is a very rare piece for George Rodrigue. This particular piece was done in 1992, quite some time ago now. It is actually carved from mahogany. It was carved by a man named John Calder Shiell. Many of you, if you've been to the gallery in New Orleans, have met Douglas Shiell, who has worked there since about 1991, and that is his father, John Calder Shiell, who was a master wood carver and did a number of projects for George, also carved some frames for him. Anyway, George designed this piece and asked Mr. Shiell if he would carve this in mahogany. He did. Afterwards, George came back and painted this all in oil. So it is one of the last Blue Dog paintings in oil. George, of course, had to give up oil paints because of his health. They think that that's what eventually caused his cancer, in fact, was the spray varnishes that he used with the oils. So this is one of the last pieces that is like that, and it's got a lot of blending that you can see as a result. Really rich texture. What happened was George got very excited about doing neon. This was the first design that he did. He did a couple of these like this. Then he did another version that had a giant white moon behind it, surrounded in neon, and another, as you can imagine with George, with a hot dog coming out behind it and red neon surrounding the hot dog. What happened was when he did the first grouping of these, which this was from maybe two at most, maybe three at most. The first one sold, and we sent it to the clients somewhere in the Northeast. I think it was New York, and they received it, and the neon broke in shipment. And so they sent it back, and we replaced the neon and sent it again, and the neon broke. And so they sent it back, and this time Douglas Shiell, son of John Shiell, who carved this, hand carried it all the way to New York on the airplane so that it would get there safely. George decided this meant no more neons. They were just too fragile, the neon alongside this hard wood. He really wanted one for himself, and he had always intended to go back and make one, but unfortunately, soon after, Mr. Shiell passed away. And so George decided it just wasn't meant to be. So how do we have this one? Well, several years later, George and his agent were in quite a bit of a legal tussle. And I was involved with that as well. It was challenging times, as those things can be. And lo and behold, George's agent had traded this particular piece for legal services. That's a big no-no. And because of all of that, we ended up getting the piece back, and it became a part of our permanent collection. George was thrilled to have it. This is the first time it has ever been on public view. So please come see it, the Museum of New Art. As I said, on view till January 2nd, 2024. After that, the exhibition will travel to New Iberia, Louisiana, to George's hometown, at the Bayou Teche Museum, where it will be on view for much of 2024 in celebration of his 80th birthday, March 13th.
And there you have it.
Electric Aura.